Krista, Brents, those are the people that signed up to speak.
You raise your right hands, please.
This is more people than we've really had speak at even a contested hearing. So again, I'm going to ask you not to repeat. We'll give you each a chance, but please do not repeat other things that people have said, and be mindful of the time that it's going to take so that we can get this done today. First, I will ask the departments if they have anything additional. DNS, do you have anything additional?
Nothing additional.
DCD.
The DCD is opposed to the requested special use.
And traffic, do you have anything additional?
Nothing additional.
Okay. Now, we did have a request that for the alderman to visit Alderman Cox district, and she is here, and we do appreciate that. That you're here, and I'm going to ask you to tell us what your opinion, what your views are on this item.
Okay. Good evening, Chairwoman Doyle. Good evening, Chairwoman Doyle and committee. Thank you for taking time to hear this this evening. As was mentioned, I represent where 500 East Center is located. I've submitted a letter to you, so I'll try to keep my comments brief. The letter is a little more detailed. Basically, when Rice first made the offer for the real estate, I did get an opportunity to meet with the operator and ask that she meet with the neighbor. She did attend, or they did attend, they have sent representatives to the Riverwest Neighborhood Association meeting, to a meeting to which about 20 people attended. But the majority of those people did not actually live or own property or around the actual location. So when I was made aware of that fact, I held a neighborhood meeting this past Monday down the block from the location and made an intense effort to get actual stakeholders in the direct area around the facility to come. About 43 people came. The operators were able to give their presentation, as well as the city attorney's office was present, as well as the Department of Development to answer questions. There were a couple people in support, but overwhelmingly, the majority of people there had objections to the facility. While there were some who had objections to the military style of education that they provide, there were tons of a variety of other things that you'll hear today that people stood in objection to. I sit here today in objection to this special use application myself, because I do not believe that it fits with the comprehensive plan of the area. And quite honestly, this building was a bank. It was later used by NPS as a daycare. I think it was never intended to be, and it is not built to be used as a school for 5th and 12th graders. Also, based on the military style of education that they do, the operator explained the level of outside rigor with the young people running to the lake and marching into the bus stops and all of that, and the intent for there to be 140, 150 young people there. I have a sincere concern about the walkability of the area and pedestrians' ability to use those streets and sidewalks with a school with that much traffic and people from it. Houghton Center is already an extremely highly trafficked area in my district, and it is a corner property right there on Houghton Center. I do believe that it would impact traffic and pedestrian ability to use that area. Additionally, it is located right near a liquor store, right across the street from a liquor store, right half a block away from another store that has a beer license, right by a tattoo shop on the same block with a bar, and across the street from another bar. I truly just believe it does not fit for the area. My statements are not based upon Ricedale as an educator. I know there are those who will have those opinions. It truly is just not the right use for this building. It was never built for this. It was never even used by NPS in this way. So I just do not believe and do not support a special use permit being granted for this use at this location. Thank you.
Now the way we're going to proceed is over the next 15 or so minutes. I'm going to ask the applicant to, you could make an opening statement and have your witnesses testify, and then we will have people who are here to speak in opposition to the item go through their testimony. So it's your opportunity now to tell us why we should grant this and take any testimony or statements that you want.
That's fine, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Just as a side note, I would point out that we did request, Right Step did, any and all documents that may have been filed in the run-up to this hearing. We didn't get a copy of any correspondence from Alderman Cox, so I'm not certain what she was making reference to, but I know that we have not seen that. We have seen the BOZA case summary, and we are aware of the fact that DCD does not support the application, and the other two entities do. What I would point out, and I'll be brief, Madam Chairman, because I know you have a lot of people that you need to hear from. In respect to the four criteria, the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, in my estimation, Right Step has submitted a plan that answers that criteria emphatically. We're talking about an entity that is going into, if this is approved, a building that's been vacant for 11 years. A building that will, if this is approved, now house at-risk kids who will be off the street and being educated in a manner that they'll hopefully yield positive, productive, pro-social citizens. This is a school where there will be 140 maximum, not 140 students. The students will at all times be wearing school uniforms, so they are readily identified. At each step, if they are outside of the building to and from bus stops, etc., they are escorted by staff. Right Step staff will serve as safety officers from the school from 7 in the morning until 4 o'clock at night. This is an extension of an existing Right Step operation that has been in operation for upwards of 9 years without incident, such that I think their track record is outstanding given the nature of the at-risk students that they are dealing with. With respect to the protection of property criteria, Madam Chairman, I would point out the following. Right Step will, in an effort to avoid any noise concerns, limit the use of their parking lot to a twice a week, 3 times a day situation where their cadets will essentially be going through calisthenics. The noise level would be, I would say, less than what one would associate with school recess and more akin to what one would associate with a practice, an athletic practice or something to that extent. I would also note that in the 9 years of operation that Right Step has under its belt, there never once has been a noise complaint registered against Right Step, and there has never been one instance where Right Step has summoned the police or made a police call because there was some need for police intercession. I think that speaks volumes about their commitment to protection of property, and I think it goes a long way toward allaying those sorts of concerns. With respect to the traffic and safety criteria, Madam Chairman, I would just point out the following. Number one, and I'm not certain this was understood by the many objectors here, we're not talking about an instance where a bunch of kids are going to engage in a free-for-all, getting on a bus, getting off a bus, or anything like that. Right Step has offered, as part of its plan, an off-site parking lot, which they will use for their staff located at 2678 North Booth Street, and the lease associated with that is appended to the filings that they've made. All Right Step employees and personnel will be parking at that rented lot. The very few kids, cadets who do have parents who drop them off, will be dropped off at that lot and escorted to the school by Right Step personnel. The vast majority of the students who attend Right Step utilize public transit, and the plan that was offered by Right Step calls for Right Step employees escorting the cadets from the bus and to the bus, such that this perception that somehow these kids are going to run amok couldn't be farther from the truth. This is a military school, and at all times, on premise or off premise, these cadets are expected to conduct themselves in a manner that is commensurate with the expectations of their neighbors. And so I think that speaks to that specific criteria. And finally, I believe that this application is absolutely consistent with the comprehensive plan. And in her filings, Ms. Fitch, on behalf of Right Step, I think, stated a very strong case as to why this use is consistent with the Northeast Side comprehensive plan, insofar as it fulfills one very important goal in the first instance, and that's filling a vacant building, a building that has lain dormant for 11 years, a building that has, I would surmise, been a magnet to draw kids into activities that this community doesn't want to see. We're afforded here an opportunity to transform that vacant building into something that will give positively to this community. And I think that's at the core of what the Northeast Side plan is all about. And so with those general comments having been made, Madam Chairman, with your permission, I would offer some brief testimony from persons who have knowledge about the matters I just spoke about.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Let's first go with Vincent Holly.
Do you guys need me up there to stand or?
Yes, could you come up and speak here?
State your name and.
Sure. Vincent Holly, VINCNT, last name is Holly, HOLLY.
Vincent, Mr. Holly, I would like you please, and understanding that we're going to keep all of our remarks brief, speak to the issue of orderliness within and without the premises and how Right Step conducts its business in that respect.
Yeah, I won't go into, I guess, the building itself, but I'm gonna go, I guess, into how we'll be dismissing and picking up in the morning. We have our cadets line up in columns in the morning, so as we pick them up from the buses, they'll be sitting or standing in an orderly fashion and escorted by us to our location. We don't have to use that front door. We can always go through the side of our building, which also will alleviate any congestion that even might have been an issue. At the end of the day, we line our cadets up and escort them away. Our cadets are not going to be running roughshod through the neighborhoods or running into buildings or running into the store. I have one of the gentlemen at the store, the liquor store, asked me, he's like, will the kids be controlled like one of your, rip off bags and chips? I'm like, no, sir, they'll be with us the entire time. And I guess in reference to the businesses around us, when the MPS had the building as a head start, the liquor store was still there. Mad Planet was still there. The club was still there. I challenge anybody to tell me every school in Milwaukee doesn't have a liquor store with an eye shot or with an eyesight or a line of sight from you. I mean, we are going to have our kids in orderly fashion, morning and afternoon, and within our building as well. We're going to be an asset to the building, an asset to the neighborhood, and an asset to the community, because we're working with community youth, and that's our job. A lot of our kids come from this area. So right now, our current building is on 76th Place, way out in Ground Deer, Milwaukee, but Ground Deer area. That is a long trip for a lot of kids to be taken for. A lot of our parents are very happy to have something closer to them where they can have their kids more like a neighborhood school. And I've been working at Right Step since 2007, before this I worked at MPS from 1991 until 2007. So I'm an educator. I'm not a military person. I'm an educator.
Thank you. I think you have about 5 more minutes.
Okay, let's then transition to. Sure. Why don't you go ahead and state your name and spell it, please?
My name is Kim Stokes, KIMSTOKES.
Thank you, Ms. Stokes. And what did you want to tell the board tonight on behalf of us?
Well, I am a treatment foster parent of a 14-and-a-half-year-old son, and he has been very successful there for 3 years. And it is because of the success that I will certainly adopt this child, because I feel so supported by the school. He's failed terribly due to his behavior in MPS. Nothing against MPS, they just were not able to manage his behavior. but he has managed very well at Right Step. And it is because of that that he will likely be adopted at the end of the year. I just could not see myself adopting a child that struggled so terribly in school. But it's because of their support, it is because of the structure, the positive discipline that I will definitely adopt my 14-and-a-half-year-old foster son.
Thank you. Then we have one, ma'am? Oh, thank you very much. Excuse me. So ma'am, state your name and spell it.
My name is Rosalinda Lloyd, ROSLINDA, LLOYD.
Thank you, Ms. Lloyd. And were you one of the individuals who signed this petition that I am holding in my hand?
Yes, I did.
And you're a neighbor who lives in the proximity of 500 Center?
Yes, I am.
And what did you want to say to the board tonight?
Well, this is what I want to say. I think it would be a great idea for the community on Center Home to have a school, you know, and the location is good to me. Like a lot of people said, I don't understand why a lot of people's against their tuition. Me, I feel it's very adequate for these kids that's been thrown out of Milwaukee Public School. Nobody else wants them. So I feel that learning might bring a lot of, you know, attitude changes and other things to the kids that really need this. But I just want to say, I really like this idea and I want to be a part of it. So wherever you guys need me, I'll be there. That's it. You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you very much.
And rather than have Ms. Fitch speak now, Madam Chairwoman, it might make better sense for her to answer issues that are raised by objection. With one exception, go ahead.
So I just want to let you guys know, we've been in business now for 9 years. In 9 years, we've never declined a student, we've never suspended a student, we've never expelled a student. And the part of what Ms. Stokes was referring to is that's the kind of commitment you have to make it work. What I can guarantee the city of Milwaukee and our new neighbors, hopefully, is we will make this work. We have taken on a really hard task, and we have gone through some highs and some lows. We will listen to the neighbors. We will work collaboratively. We've gotten through a lot tougher things than being a good neighbor, and we can do it.
And then I would just offer the petition I was referencing. I think it's signed by 11 neighbors, and its contents speak for itself. Should I pass that along?
Yes, please. We'll put that in the record.
Then I would yield the floor, if that's all right.
Okay. Thank you very much. What I'm going to ask, if you wouldn't mind just turning your chairs over, you two. Sure. I'm just going to start, and I'm going to ask each of the individuals who have signed up to speak in opposition to come and take the chairs here. And I'm going to you get about 15 minutes, that's it. So if you talk on, other people won't get a chance to talk. So please don't repeat what other people are saying. And when you start to speak, please identify yourself, give us your name and your mail address, and then be as concise as possible. We'll start with you, sir.
And if you could use the microphone.
Ma'am, if I may, I have a meeting at the Fire and Police Academy that is supposed to be at 6, so if I could speak first, I certainly.
All right.
concede.
Go ahead. You go ahead, and what is your name again?
My name is Larry Spike Bandy. My mailing address is P.O. Box 12046, Milwaukee 53212. I reside at 3463B North Booth Street, also 53212. I'm a two-time chair of the Riverwest Neighborhood Association. I'm also the 5th District Representative to the Citywide Block Watch Council. Trying to be as brief as possible. I'd like to first respond to a couple of things that the attorney said. You mentioned that there have been no noise complaints where they are right now. I'd like to make note it's a very sparsely populated area, so yeah, it's a good place for it where it is right now. He mentioned the place has been vacant for 11 years. Yes. When the Wright Street Resource Center closed, we tried to get in there to expand really, but we were told that the Milwaukee Public schools wanted $500,000 for it. Now, these folks are getting it for $223,000. If we'd have had that kind of quote, we'd have been in there a while back. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, it was a daycare, and yes, the liquor store was there. But bear in mind, with a daycare, your parents, whose parents are picking them up and dropping them off. They're not letting those kids go out and wander the streets. These kids are being let go, they're put on the bus, but nobody's on the bus with them all the way home. One concern, and just to address the criteria, protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, as well as D3, traffic and pedestrian safety. There's nothing to stop these young people from getting off the bus 2 blocks north by the senior center and accosting or assaulting the seniors up there. That is a concern. The operator of the school has stated that their students of at-risk young men will be let out dispersal on the 4 corners there. At the community meeting on Monday, the CEO and the principal assured us that on the rare occasions that students have been involved in any fights, which they characterize as minor, which they said they quickly brought under control. They're saying operating without incident. However, I had a long conversation with the community liaison officer in District 4 yesterday, where the current school is located, and I was informed that on numerous occasions, squads have been dispatched to the school to break up fights, some of which have spilled out into the street. Now, if that happens on the corner of Holton and Center, and it spills out into the street, that's not a sparsely populated area, that's a very busy corner. And you talk about endangering safety, traffic, and pedestrian. One last thing, yes, it is across the street from the liquor store. Yes, it has been there for a long time, but I'm not aware of the board being in the habit of allowing schools to open directly across the street from a liquor store or directly across the street from a bar. That liquor store has an ongoing problem with loitering, panhandling. The corners of the intersection, including the northeast corner where the school would be located, have been gathering points for men and women to loiter and whatever. So, with that being said, I'm firmly in opposition to this school being located there. It's, I'm sure, a wonderful school. I'm hearing that they do wonderful things, but the northeast corner of Bolton and Center is not the place for them to be located. They want to run the kids up to Gordon Park to work out. You're gonna run them up there through the snow, the sidewalks aren't always cleared off. Pedestrian safety, public safety, children. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So, we have about 10 more minutes, so I'd like to keep going.
Madam Chair,
What? You're out of
I made the mistake of offering him a ride to the meeting after this. And so I'm wondering if I can slide in on his coattails.
He's my ride.
All right, go ahead. I mean, I've only got about 10 more minutes.
Well, we should have another meeting then, because we all want to speak.
Yeah.
It's up to each individual to keep their own time. If they're gonna talk longer, that's gonna interfere with other.
As a chair of the meeting, don't you have the authority to just?
Look, this meeting was scheduled for 10 minutes. We've already gone a half an hour. I'm giving you 15 minutes for opposition. So now we're just wasting time. Would you please go ahead and tell us what it is that you wish to.
Sorry, I'm a 61-year resident of Riverwest. I do not live around the corner from where Right Step is proposing to operate. But I did use it as a bank back in 1955 when I had my Milwaukee Journal paper up. So I got a little legacy. I guess the only thing I want to say.
I'm sorry, did you tell us your name?
I'm sorry, Doug Lloyd.
Okay, thank you.
It's
And we do have your letter here.
Yeah, thanks. I guess I have the concerns of safety and what have you. I guess the only thing I really want to talk about is the comment that the attorney made about the Northeast Area Comprehensive Plan, which I took a look at. And one of the goals is to improve safety in the Riverworks area and quote-unquote surrounding communities. which 500 East Center Street certainly falls under that definition. So I don't think that what they're proposing to do is necessarily something that is supportive of the city comprehensive plan to improve safety, period.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Could you tell us your name and email address?
My name is Brian Rothgary, E-R-I-A-N, last name R-O-T-H-G-E-R-Y. My mailing address is 2632 North Pierce Street, 53212, which is a couple blocks away from this building. I've lived a couple blocks away from this building for the past 10 years. And I just want to speak to the consistency with the northeast side plan. The attorney that spoke earlier said that this school would be consistent because it would occupy or fill a vacant building. I don't believe that the city's comprehensive plan calls for simply occupying vacant buildings. It calls for occupying vacant buildings in a way that's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. For example, on page 173 of the northeast side plan, in the Center Street corridor, it says that design guidelines should include ways in which new businesses can be incorporated into the existing retail corridor while maintaining its character. A military school is entirely out of character with the Center Street corridor. Second of all, I'm soon to be a homeowner in the neighborhood. I've lived in the neighborhood, like I said, for 10 years. I'd like to own a home there. I recently made an offer that was accepted on a house within a few blocks from the school. I would seriously reconsider going through with the purchase of a home and becoming a homeowner and a property taxpayer in the city if I was to be within a couple blocks of the military school. I'm not concerned about the students. I'm more concerned about the staff. There's an FBI investigation currently of this institution. And let me just read you something briefly. It says that students alleged they were punched, this is in the Journal Sentinel, punched, kicked, slapped, forced to remain in a smoke-filled room until they passed out, forced to endure humiliating acts such as lying in their own vomit, or drinking from a cup filled with the instructor's spit. I'm less concerned about the students that would be attending the school and more concerned about the character of the staff that this type of institution hires. I do not want people like this in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. You, sir?
Mark Foreman, 11325 West Daphne Street, 53204. I'm a combat veteran of the U.S. War on Vietnam. I was there in 1968 as a corpsman, it's like a medic. I went through military training, basic training, and I was a public school teacher, Milwaukee public school teacher for 20 years, very, very proud of that experience. I've been retired for 11 years now. I'm here to say that I learned from the military how to humiliate and intimidate and create fear. That is what the military does. That does not belong with our children. That kind of psychology does not belong with our children. And I learned as a teacher over 20 years, and I had a lot of at-risk kids. The way to get to children is through love and compassion. Discipline with at-risk kids and this kind of military discipline makes them meaner. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Robert Groff. I live at 5113 West Wall Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53208. I am opposing the exemption to the zoning because I think the military choice school is a public safety and welfare hazard. In its own website, it says that their method of teaching is in-your-face military structure. But the realities of the school are, in the great school ratings of schools all over the country in the United States, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee, the ratings are from 1 to 10. Right Step is rated the lowest, 1. And it might be because it doesn't offer language arts, music, or any kind of program that are needed for young at-risk people. I looked at my own high school and other ones around the neighborhood. My own school was a predominantly white school and it's rated 10, but there are predominantly black schools, which is in the neighborhood, that have much better ratings in education. And they, by their own admission, last Monday, admit that they only, in 9 years, only graduated about 30 students. And the requirement is you reach 10th grade only, reading and math, and they would graduate you. The military, the drills, the boot camp, in-your-face military instructor are not healthy. And it was mentioned how they're under a legal suit right now. The neighborhood of the city of Milwaukee does not need this military model of education. It lures troubled kids into a military style of education that puts force as a way to solve conflicts. I'd be glad to share you with this, what happened in Chicago, the facts of how these military schools have, in many people's opinion, have contributed to the violence in Chicago, increased violence. We should offer our African Americans at-risk students, many coming from poverty and distressed areas, our best, not our worst. The building can be great access to the community and to youth. Let us not rush into giving exemptions out of pressure. There is no pressure. Just say no. Give all our youth, especially at-risk youth, the opportunity of a good education.
All right, thank you. I really.
Madam Chairwoman, I respectfully request a contested meeting so that all of us can speak, because I can see that you are getting ready to cut us all off, and there are many of us that would like to speak.
I'm gonna go ahead and just, at first I'm gonna have a consultation here with somebody. Normally at a contested hearing, it's only 30 minutes, so we have already given 40 minutes to this hearing. We schedule a contested hearing for 30 to 40 minutes, we've already gone 40 minutes with this. I think that we've covered areas like the curriculum and so on, but I don't think we can manage to do this today. I really do not think we can do it and keep up with the rest of we have tried, but I don't think we can do it and keep up with the rest of our calendar. If you're gonna excuse me for a minute, I'm gonna consult with our secretary. All right, I would like to have, if you don't mind, taking seats back again, I'd like to have the petitioner come forward. Just please, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do what you asked, so why don't you just go along with us here. Unfortunately, the way this is going, we started at 10 after 4, it's almost 5 o'clock now, we can't do this hearing today, we just can't. And I understand your concerns, and we can't do it.
I understand it, Madam Chairman. I haven't observed what I did tonight. I'm realistic. I appreciate the effort made to accommodate the request of get to finality tonight. I see that's impossible, and in the interest of reason and sense and affording you an opportunity to properly vet this, I understand we need to do this.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn this matter to a contested hearing. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded, and and we're going to schedule this matter. We do not meet in August, so it'll be in September. And we're gonna schedule it for a contested hearing that has specific rules so that we have time limits and people will have to organize themselves in a way to, for those in opposition, and you would have more of an opportunity to respond, as under these circumstances, we're gonna hear much testimony, and I think it's only fair and then for due process purposes that you have an opportunity to fully address the issues that are raised. So for that reason, then did we vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? So this is now adjourned to a contested hearing.
Madam Chair, if I may also, all letters that have been submitted to the board office will remain on file for the next hearing. So if you've already submitted a letter, you can rest assured that that will be there. We will also order a transcript, so the testimony that has been taken will also be included in the record when this is reheard.
That was going to be my question.
Yes, so those of you who did provide your testimony do not need to come back. And we do really appreciate, I want to say that, that you all have come down here today and taken the time to address this issue. We greatly appreciate that, and you will, if you've signed in, you're going to receive notice of the hearing when we reschedule it for the contested hearing. All right? Do you have any other questions?
I will await notification of that date in September.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.